This is a video response to ApologeticsMan on his videos about Zechariah chapter 8 verse 23, a passage that I happen to love very much. First of all, I want you to know that I do agree with you that Isaiah chapter 11 is a messianic prophecy. My issue here is, if a passage is fulfilled, the entire passage should be fulfilled and not one verse or two verses or possibly three. If you read from verse 6 down, the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, the calf, the beast of prey, and the fatling together with a young boy to herd them. Those things have not been fulfilled yet. And I don't quite understand why you expect me to expect them to be fulfilled. In my opinion, they will be fulfilled all in the lifetime of this one man, the Messiah. Which I think is a much easier thing to believe than to believe in someone who allegedly went away and hasn't come back for you. You said something very, very interesting, that the Jewish concept of the Messiah is one of a mighty man of war. Very, very interestingly, the place where I learned those songs about, like for example, mighty warrior dressed for battle, mighty Lord of all is he, Commander-in-Chief, bring us to attention, bring us into battle to crush the enemy, was not in a Jewish synagogue. Okay, the place where I learned that song was, well, you can figure that out for yourself. Quite interesting that you would say that the Jewish concept of the Messiah is one of a savior. About your translation of Yehudim as people from the tribe of Judah, I think that's absolutely absurd. If you want to translate it that way, why don't you translate every usage of Yehuda in Isaiah 11 as being about the Messiah too? Or, for example, in Hosea. Oh, and the other problem with your argument about Zechariah chapter 8 verse 23 is that it says, okay, 10 men will take hold of the, what does it say in King James, of the skirt of him who is a Jew. Okay, so 10 men taking hold of one man. According to your interpretation of this one man being your Messiah, only 10 men will be saved, which is even more ridiculous than saying that only people from 10 countries will be saved. Or whatever it was you said. Something about, there's only 10,000 languages in the world, something. Just very, very interesting. I guess that's to the exclusion of Paul and maybe one of the disciples. Or maybe only 10 Gentiles will be saved. Okay. So a more reasonable understanding of the passage. Reading it in context from verse 20 on. Thus said the Lord of hosts, people and the inhabitants of many cities shall yet come. The inhabitants of one shall go to the other and say, let us go and entreat the favor of the Lord. Let us seek the Lord of hosts, I will go too. Then many people and the multitude of nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem and to entreat the favor of the Lord. Thus said the Lord, in those days 10 men from the nations of every town will take hold of him who is a Jew by the corner of his cloak, or by the corner of his tallis, is the way I understand it, and say, let us go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. Since you like cross-referencing passages, I'll tie in some other passages that I find very applicable and very interesting here. Isaiah chapter 19 verse 19 on. In that day there shall be an altar to the Lord inside the land of Egypt, and a pillar to the Lord as its border. They shall serve as a symbol and reminder to the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt, so that when the Egyptians cry out to the Lord against oppressors, he will send them a Savior and a champion to deliver them. For the Lord will make himself known to the Egyptians, and the Egyptians shall acknowledge the Lord in that day. They shall serve him with sacrifice and with oblation, and shall make vows to the Lord and fulfill them. The Lord will first afflict and then heal the Egyptians, and they will turn back to the Lord. He will respond to their entreaties and heal them. And that day there shall be a highway from Egypt to Assyria. The Assyrians shall join with the Egyptians, and the Egyptians with the Syrians. And then the Egyptians, together with the Assyrians, shall serve the Lord. In that day Israel will be the third partner with Egypt and Assyria as a blessing on earth. For the Lord of hosts will bless them, saying, Blessed be my people Egypt, my handiwork Assyria, and my very own Israel. One of my all-time favorites has found its way into many, many videos of mine, Zechariah 14, verse 9. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth, and that day there shall be one Lord, and his name one. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. For then I will make the peoples pure of speech, so that all will invoke the name of the Lord, and serve him with one accord. Isaiah chapter 2, verses 2 to 4. In the days to come, the mount of the Lord's house will stand firm above the mountains and tower above the hills, and all nations shall gaze on it with joy, and the many peoples shall go and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may instruct us in his ways, and we may walk in his paths. For instruction shall go forth from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. For he will judge among the nations, and arbitrate among the peoples, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation, never shall they learn war again. And back on the topic of the 10 men taking hold of one man, and the one man allegedly being the Messiah, if you're going to apply it that way, will you also apply the same thing to Isaiah chapter 4? Will you say that that one man is also your Messiah? Just take a look, and I like your comment here that the Jewish interpretation is just as open to rebuttal as yours. Okay, so rebut me, and we'll rebut each other either till the cows come home or till one of us changes our mind. All things considered, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be converting soon. Whenever you're ready, just know that we'll receive you. And I will be very much nicer to you. So that's all. God bless. Thanks for watching.